Hey guys, this is Ray again. The video was so poor in the last one that I did. I'm going to do a real quick video here and use a little higher zoom setting so you guys can see what I was talking about. Let's start with the main page. Again, this is daily play mode. The settings for daily play. You don't need anything for batch process because we're not sending any results data to the database or the record keeping sheet, so that batch process box needs to be empty, as does the all record box, and also the test track using auto record mode box. They all need to be empty, and you need to be in daily play mode, so click the daily play button to get the one showing in the box below. Then just click run data, and that race will be processed, that card will be processed without the results, and when the window comes up you'll be sent to the all data sheet race selection area. Let me zoom out real quick on this so that you can see that area, the main page. You got your starting card number, ending card number, daily play mode to get the one. Nothing in all record, nothing in auto record, and nothing in batch process. Then click run data, and when it's done the timer window will come up. Click OK, and it will take you to the all data sheet race selection area, which is this area here. I'm going to zoom that out a little more. Okay, then so just select the race you want to look at, and we get to the RS view. Let me zoom in more on this one. Okay, we started out with the segmental or fractional velocities area, this area here. We talked about the lows and highs for each of the three segments of the race, FR1, FR2, and FR3. Next we talked about the graph, which uses those velocities to give you a visual view in this area. Actually, it would extend if you were in a lower zoom setting, but this area gives you a graphical view of what those fractional velocities were telling us. Again, the first number in each of the three segments. This is the first segment, the second segment, and the final or race finish segment. The first number that you get to represents the low velocity for FR1. The one to the right is the high velocity. Then we add to those to get into the second segment. The first number, the first two you come to, is the low plus the low, and then the right hand two would be the high plus the high. So it's we build on each previous segment to get the new segment's graphical representation of the race to that point. So the final part of the race would build on the first and second and add to that the third segment velocities. The first three you come to, the one on the left is the low from first segment and second segment and the final segment. So all three lows, and the three on the right would be all three highs. So in effect, unless the horse runs a new high or a new low today, his performance today will be somewhere in those, each of those segments shown. And if each horse runs his best, Each horse in the race runs his highs for all three segments. Then the three to the right in the third segment, or the final segment, shows your winner. If they all run exactly their highs. In this case, it'd be the 12. Or I think it's tied with the 2B horse here. Pretty close to being tied. Okay, above that was our PPG count, was the number of races in the database that has this PPG rating, pace pressure gauge rating. In this case, 1120 by 0. There's only one in the database. In a case like that, where you only have one or two or three races of that PPG in the database, don't expect the FWC picks and the methods that use those FWC picks to be very accurate. We want to see 10 PPG count or higher. Okay, the projected winner's running style, again, is listed here according to what the database is telling us about this particular PPG. To the right of that, we have the individual running styles, E, EP, P, and S, with the corresponding number or percentage of winners in the database from that PPG represented here. In this case, we only had one race, and an S horse won that race. And the S horse's clearing early speed point number was a 1. You get a range here if you have more than one PPG count, say 0 to 5 or whatever. All of that stuff is used for eliminations for the FWC final win contenders method. Okay, let's go on over the general race information area that I discussed, and the race number. The race conditions are listed here. In the lower, again, the lower zoom setting, you'll be able to see all of the conditions. Above that, you'll get if it's a turf race, you'll get a notification up here that it is a turf race. If you take it off of the turf by clicking the Take Race Off Turf button, then that will change to a take off race taken off the turf. Let me show you. If I click that button, you'll get a notification here that it's been taken off the turf. When you report results, if the race was taken off the turf, you'll get this automatically. You'll get this notification automatically. So let's go back to what we had originally, race 1, turf race. Okay. Above that, your post times for Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific for the post time for this particular race, the first race. To the right of that, you have the types of bets available in this race. The fact that we're in daily play mode is listed here, and a question mark asking you to check the track condition. That's something I added for my own benefit to remind me to make sure that I know what the track condition is before I place wagers. Below that, you have your form, class, prime power, average distance, and days off data. Again, in the form category, a low number is better than a high number. A plus designation means the horse is on the improve. A negative means it's on the decline, and a 0 means it shows no movement as far as improvement or decline. The class ratings are, again, earnings based. strictly on earnings, nothing else. Prime power, of course, is the Brisnet prime power or the JCapper prime power, depending on which data files you're using. Average distance is determined by the distance of this race and the surface of this race. If it's a route, then these will be the route races that the horses has run averaged. If it is a turf race, then it will be route turfs averaged. If it's a dirt race, it will be dirt races, and whether or not it was a route or a sprint, those will be averaged to get these average distances. The distance rating that I use along with class sometimes, I want to see horses that run close to today's distance on the average. They will get ranked higher. This particular race is 8.5 furlong, so I'm looking for horses that are within 2 or 3 tenths of a point from 8.5 furlongs. So this first horse is 8.7. The 6 and the 7 horse or the 6th horse is 8.5. There's an 8.3 for the 8, an 8.5 for the 9, and the 1A. And then you have a couple of horses that run longer distances. A 1X, and his average distance is 10.2. And the 5 horse is 9.4. So those horses, we know they can at least run 8.5, although they may prefer longer distances than that, depending on how many races they run. And then your days off is the days, it's been since the horse's last race. I like to see 14 to 45 days here, normally. But I really won't discount a horse until they're off at least 75 days. Okay, let's go on over to morning line. Again, this morning line comes from JCapper. That's the files I'm using here. Or it will come from Brisnet. And they both come probably from Equibase. So I'm assuming this is Equibase's morning line. And that may differ from the actual tote board at the track. The lowest morning line odds will be highlighted to give you an idea of what the track handicapper thinks about these horses. Okay, our first method we're going to discuss is the IV, or initial velocities method. These are averages that represent the graph that we showed before, all of the lows and highs added together. And these are your rankings for the IV by horse number, and the rankings are determined by those averaged velocities. The high velocity will be listed at the top, and the next horse's the next highest horse's velocities will be second, and then third, etc., along with the name of the horse. Okay, let's go back over. We talked about the ticket structure helper, but before I want to go ahead, since we're in this area, go over to the first and last velocities are listed here. Again, those are averages of the lows and the highs, but they're done a little different than what the graph does and what IV does. Again, the top 3 velocities will be highlighted in this area. And this section over here is for weighting the 3 segmental velocities according to importance at the track that you've got them set for. Remember, I told you these weightings here, the three, the 2.55 and 1.75, were weightings that I assigned for the fairgrounds. That I discovered those during my testing, so you can change those, retest, or whatever you want to do. Okay, let's go back to the ticket structure helper. Remember I told you this is just for your own information, basically for the vertical exotics, exacta, trifecta, superfecta. The wind position would be this column. Just type any character next to the horse for that segment, for that position, finished position. The place line, the show line, and the fourth finisher line. Each time you add one of those, it will automatically be placed in the ticket structure for win, place, show, or fourth. So if we added horse to the show line, added horses to the show line, I always carry them down because I do a box wheel ticket. Just add the horses that you want to add, and after you got them done, you can scroll down and see what your ticket structure would be. This would be an exacta ticket, trifecta ticket, and a superfecta ticket. Okay, now to clear those, we just go to clear bet selections, and it will clear out the ticket structure helper. Okay, FWC mode. The horse number, running style, and clear and early speed points are listed here. The eliminations for running style and clearing point will be listed here. And again, that is taken from these percentages up here. If the horse's running style and clearing points don't meet the categories up here, it gets eliminated automatically. Matchups again are on velocity, based on high velocities for FR1 and FR2. Both of those, not just one or the other. You have to have matchups in both of those in order for a horse to be eliminated because of a matchup. In this race, there were several who had matchups in FR2, but not in FR1, so none of those were eliminated due to matchups. Here are your eliminated horses, and all of these were eliminated based on running styles. We only had one horse that qualified by one running style, and that was the 6th horse, so he passes through both eliminations and becomes a contender, as you can see here, the 6th horse. So if this were a play FWC race, we qualified for a play, then the 6th horse would be the only pick for FWC. But as you can see, it's not a play notification. Down here it says past 20% no velocities, which means 20% of the horses in the race had no qualified velocities. And that is a past situation for FWC. Farther over are your results. If you have imported them, which we haven't, you'll get on the same line as the horse, you'll get any payouts that were earned for win, place, or show for each of the horses. We can go into that in the next video, which will be the video for reviewing a card with its results, and I'll explain a little more about that then. Okay, to the right of that we have the horse numbers listed again, so you can when you make your scratches, you'll be able to see the horse numbers in a closer position to the scratch box, which is here, manual scratch box. If you want to scratch a horse, just click next to that horse's number and type any character in, and that horse will be removed from the race. To clear this manual scratch area, there's a button here called Clear Manual Scratches. Just clear that, and because of the zoom it took me way away from where it should. Normally it will not change. If you have it in the lower zoom setting, it will come right back to this area, this same area. And we talked about the manual record buttons here. If you import results, you can actually manually record the different rankings methods rather than using auto record or all record. Again, I added those in the beginning when I did not have an auto record mode or an all record mode. In order to get the data sent to the record keeping sheet, we would have to click the appropriate button depending on which method we were playing to get that data sent over to that sheet. When you have clicked one of these buttons in this yellow cell up here, it will tell you that it'll say recorded, which means you've already recorded the results for this race. That's just to keep you from doing it more than once. Okay, to the right of that is our FV, or final velocity area method. These are listed, this section are the velocities listed by horse number or post position. Their velocities are all the highs for the three segments averaged together. That's what this velocity is here. And to the right of that are the rankings by horse, or by velocity. The highest velocity that horse will be listed as the top pick. The next highest will be second pick. The third highest will be the third pick. Okay, let's go back over to the left. Below the ticket structure area, actually below the graph, we have the number of runners that are still left in the race that haven't been scratched out. We have the EPP, which is the early pace picture, and the PFV, which is our power form velocity rating for the finish of the race. This is for the second call, projected position, running position at second call, ranked by high velocity. And the PFV is the horse numbers ranked by the total velocity. In this case, 1A is ranked higher than 1, 2 is ranked higher than 3, 3 is ranked higher than 7, etc., etc. And I showed you how to get to that area. Just click the PFV picture button, and it will take you to that area so you can see the graphical representation of that. I'm not going to go there because I showed you about that in the last video. Okay, the consensus picks are listed next. Again, this days off set on the main sheet. You go to the main sheet, type the number of days that you want to use as a layoff, disqualification, or a elimination. I've got 365 days, and that's an automatic elimination for the consensus only method. Any horse having not run within 365 days will automatically be eliminated from contention in the consensus method. This is only for the consensus method. So you can type whatever number of days you want to use for eliminations for consensus, whether it's 30 days, 45 days, 75 days, whatever. I've got 365 in mind because I don't want to automatically eliminate without at least giving the horses a fair shot and checking some other stuff. So let's go back to the summaries page in our RS view. Okay, that consensus area is right here. as picks are listed. This is the horse number ranked from the first rank, second rank, third rank. You'll get a play or a pass notification for consensus below that. Okay. I discussed what goes into all these ratings and methods in the previous video, so I'm not going to go through that again. This is your main pass play notification box. It is primarily used for the FWC method, but also applies to the other methods also. A pass 20% no velocity, like it's showing here. If you get that notification, that's going to apply to all the methods. If you have 20% of the horses in a particular race that do not have qualified velocities, my feeling is that the race should be passed. You can ignore that if you want, but that's just from my testing. That's what that shows. They lose money long term. Just below that is our first alternate notification box, and you'll either get a pass here or an alt FB notification, which means you can play the FB picks when the race was a pass notification for FWC. That's the first alternate method notification. The one to the right of that is the second alternate method notification box. I call it alt 2. So this would be alt 1, alt 2. You can get an alt FB here telling you to play FB picks, or an alt FB IV, which is would be these rankings, the 3A, 2B. Okay, let's go on to the other methods. We've talked about FWC, FB, and IV up to this point, and consensus, and first and last. So I'll just show you where those picks show up for the other methods. FB, IV, which is an average of the velocities from FB and the velocities from IV, are ranked here by those velocities. The first one being here, 3A, 2B. All tops, again, is the top pick from each of the three main methods, FWC, FB, and IV. You can have 3 picks, 2 picks, or 1 pick, depending on how many times the same horse appears in those top 3 ratings. In this case, 6 would be your FWC pick, 1 would be your FB pick, and 2B would be your IV pick. That's just the way it worked out. If you had 6 as the top pick in 2 of those methods, then it would only be listed once, and you would only have 2 picks. If all 3 methods had the same top pick, then you would only get 1 pick there. Okay, FB-IV combination is the number of times that a particular horse rates in FWC, the top 4 rankings for FWC, FB, or IV. So it looks at the most frequently occurring horses in those top 4 in each of those 3 rankings or ratings. It's a little different than FBIV, which averages their velocities. This one does not average any velocities. It looks at the picks themselves. Alt FB, if the second alternate notification is an Alt FB, then you'll get picks under this Alt FB section here. First and last, again, we've already talked about first and last. These are those rankings, horses ranked by the first and last velocities. FWC Alt 2, if you have in the second alternate method notification box, if you have an Alt FB or an Alt FBIV showing there, whichever one of those is showing, those picks will be listed in the FWC Alt 2 area right here. In this case it's FBIV, so you have 3, 8, 2B. And if you go over and look at FBIV, it's 3, 8, and 2B. If it were an Alt FB, then those picks would be from the FB rankings, which would be 1, 3, and 9. But they would be listed down here instead of these 3 horses. So it just depends on which notification you get for a play in this second alternate notification box as to which horses are played here. Okay, let's go back to the left again. Your first and last picks. You can type a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or any combination for the number of picks from the first and last method that you want to be auto-recorded to the record keeping sheet. Or you, I just leave all 3 in there because your record keeping sheet is going to tell you how each of those 3 picks did anyway. To the right of that, we have the first and last rankings. Instead of having to go back over to see those rankings, they're listed right down here with their the main and your main notification, past play notification will be here, and whether or not the first and last method is a play or a pass is listed first. So this is a pass situation for first and last because of the 20% no velocities notification. And there are your 3 picks for first and last. Below that are the picks for PFV, which are here. These are actually the horses ranked more than 3 picks there. If you wanted to use those for the exotics, it gives you more than the top 3 or top 5 as listed here. PFV lists the top 5, but here you'll get up to 6 or 7 horses listed, and that's mainly for my purposes for that's the vertical exotics. Okay, to the right of that, this is class. Again, that class is my own class rating, and to the right of that are those horses ranked by the class rating. In this case, the 1X, 1A, and 1 are all the 3 top class horses. Of course, you can only bet one of those, and you get all 3. So the second horse, the second class horse, would actually be the 8, and the third would be the 5. So if I were betting class, I would bet the 1, the 8, and the 5. Okay, distance is again the average distances that were shown up to the right of the graph, and those horses are ranked by their average distance. Closest one to today's distance would be first, the next one second, and the next one third. Class distance is a combination of these 2 lines. The horses that appear most frequently in both lines will be your class distance ranked horses. You can see the 1A appears there and there, and the 1X and the 6 and the 9 did not appear in both columns before the 1 and the 1A, so 1A gets ranked first. The next horse was the 8, because none of these horses to the left of this 8 appeared in both boxes. The 8 appeared here, and the last distance horse, so it becomes number 2. And then since I'm prioritizing by class, the next horse that would be considered would be the 4, and even though it was rated lower than the 8, it gets picked next because it does appear in the distance rankings. So 1A, 8, 4 in this circumstance, or class and distance added together are combined. Again, for consensus, this consensus area, this box here, you can type 1, 2, or 3 in there for the number of picks you want to be sent to the record keeping sheet. Again, there's really no need to do that since all 3 picks are shown there anyway, and you can look at each one individually. Your minimum odds, of course, come from the main sheet. Whatever you have typed on the main sheet for minimum odds will show here. Your preferred method from the main sheet, I'll show you that preferred method right here. My preferred settings, FBIV, that will be shown here. And your preferred picks from the main sheet, that's this area. Whatever you have typed in there will show up here. That's just for your information, so you don't have to remember. If you've got several tracks going, you don't have to remember which method you're playing or what minimum odds you're playing. It's going to be shown here for you. And you can further customize that in this black area. As I said, if you need help with the formulas to customize that for you, to give you a pass notification for whichever method you're playing, like FBIV, pass or play notification, there's a formula that I can give to you to give you that pass play. Also, the race number is going to appear if you don't change it. It will appear here, and then to the right of that, other formulas to point to which of the contenders you're going to be betting according to your preferred betting method. Again, this is all customizable. So if I only wanted to play the top pick for FBIV, for example, if that was not a pass for FBIV, then that preferred pick method would be listed here with arrows pointing to the first pick, because I only want to play the first pick. I would have all 3 picks listed here, but the arrows would only point to the first pick. And then, of course, below that I could add another one if I wanted to play first and second pick, and another one if I wanted to play all 3. Again, that's a customizable personal area for your own information. If you need help setting that up, just shoot me an email. Okay, that's the RS, the standard RS view. I didn't mention last time, there's a fair odds line down here below. And again, this one you can use your own ratings or whatever. Just decide which ones they are. If you want to try this out, you can let me know which ratings you want to use, and I'll help you get those ratings set here. And it gives you the fair odds for each of the horses. Betting odds also, you can change this. So if you had 1.9 to 1 was your fair odds, and you wanted to fudge that a bit because of what we all know about late odds drops on the tote board, you could fudge that a little. And the betting odds for, in this instance, would be 2 to 1. Again, if you need help with this, shoot me an email, and I'll try to help you get that set up. I don't use the fair odds line because I haven't found a rating that I feel is accurate enough to actually use the fair odds line. But you may have one. If you need help with that, just let me know. I'll help you set that up. Okay, I mentioned before that this is the regular view. I'll go back out to the zoom setting I usually use so I can see more of it. If you want a more condensed view or condensed display for use with smaller monitors or displays, go to the remote devices tab and you will see there's a more condensed view of the RS ratings and rankings. I'm not going to go through this one. If you have questions about the remote devices view, just shoot me an email and I'll explain that. But again, you can run this program in daily play mode from this sheet also by going to the main sheet and selecting mobile mode. Once you select mobile mode and you have imported your card, you'll be taken to remote devices rather than the regular summaries or the regular RS view. So you can just stay on that remote devices and select all the races here for viewing. Again, the scratch box is over here to scratch horses. Now after you scratch horses, you have to click this update scratches button, which updates the regular RS view where everything, that's the master sheet, so it updates both of these sheets for scratches. And you can clear the scratches with the clear scratches button. Here are 6 other buttons that you can use to go to other sheets. Like if I wanted to go to RS, to the regular RS view, I could click here. If I wanted to go back to the remote devices, I can click this button. And there you are. There's your graph. Your velocities for the 3 segments. Your class distance, EPP, and PFV, ranked horses. And all of your other methods listed across the top and down the side and below. First and last, EPP and PFV. All your ranked horses are listed here for each of those methods. Here's your general race information area. If you import results, you'll get your payouts here. Your past notifications, past play notifications are down here. That's the main past notification box. The first alternate notification box and the second alternate. As you can see, this was an Alt 2 notification which told us we could play FEIV in this race, even though we had a past notification. Second alternate. This is the personal area that you can customize, just like the personal area in a regular RSP. If you need help with that, just let me know. I'll set it up. Okay, that's it. I'm going to end this video and get it uploaded. It'll be listed as number 8, video number 8. And again, it's just a little additional video that I added in a higher zoom setting so you can see the data a little easier because the video was so poor in the 7th video, the previous video. So I'll see you next time when we'll talk about reviewing a card with its results in the RS program. Talk to you later.